All right, thanks for that, Noah. The Supreme Court heard arguments Wednesday over the Trump administration's push to end birthright citizenship. The proposal would affect children born in the U.S. to parents who are here illegally or on temporary visas. President Trump attended part of the arguments in person, a first for a sitting president. During questioning, some of the court's conservative justices appeared skeptical of the administration's plan. That case over birthright citizenship could have real consequences for immigrant families right here in Northwest Arkansas. 5 News reporter Bo Russell has more on why some local advocates and attorneys say this case could change lives.
For generations, being born in the United States has generally meant automatic U.S. citizenship. But now, as the Supreme Court takes up that question, people across the country are watching closely. Census data shows foreign-born residents make up 26.6% of Springdale, 18% of Rogers, 12.4% of Washington County, and 12.7% of Benton County. Should the Supreme Court side with President Trump's executive decision to end birthright citizenship, over 250,000 children born in the United States every year would be affected. But immigration attorney Nathan Bogart says citizenship status isn't the only issue being decided by the Supreme Court, but whether a president can try to change a long-standing constitutional understanding through executive action alone.
I mean, they're trying to change it with an executive order, right? There's not been a law passed by Congress. There's not been a constitutional convention or any other process to amend the Constitution.
Bogart says if birthright citizenship were changed, it would create major legal and practical questions, including what happens to people born here who may not automatically be recognized as citizens. He also says right now, a U.S. birth certificate has long served as proof of citizenship, which is why he believes any change would be extremely difficult to action. Bo Russell, 5 News.
The trial of a former Van Buren daycare worker is set to start today. Kelsey Beck is accused of shoving a toddler in her classroom last August. Court records show that Beck is no longer employed by the daycare. Video recordings reportedly show Beck pushing the student after the child threw school supplies. Investigators said Beck declined to make a statement when they interviewed her. Beck was arrested in September and charged with 1 count of third-degree battery. And President Trump delivered a primetime address to the nation Wednesday night to discuss the latest in Iran. He did not mention boots on the ground, but says Operation Epic Fury is almost complete. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump once again said the mission in Iran would be over soon.
We are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We are going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
In his primetime address Wednesday, he did not reveal much new information, but again gave his justification for the conflict.
For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield.
Overnight, Iran launched a new volley of missiles at U.S. partners in the region. And the regime is threatening even more forceful, broader, and devastating attacks.
President Trump has been highly critical of NATO allies for not helping to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Today, the UK is hosting a virtual meeting of foreign ministers from around 40 countries to discuss options for reopening the strait.
We have seen Iran hijack an international shipping route to hold the global economy hostage.
The UK says military planners are working on a plan for the strait after the fighting has stopped. President Trump says the U.S. will be helpful, but says others should take the lead in protecting the key waterway.
We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies.
Thursday morning, the price of U.S. crude oil rose 10% to more than $110 a barrel. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Overnight, Republican leaders unveiled a plan to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. They're pushing for a second Trump mega bill for more immigration funding. Timing is unclear. The Senate could act as soon as today. And in other news, the United States has lifted its sanctions against Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez. The Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control made the announcement on Wednesday. No reason was given for the restrictions being lifted. Rodriguez was sanctioned by the U.S. in 2018 during President Donald Trump's first term when she was vice president. She was accused of being in a group that supported the decline of democracy in Venezuela. The announcement comes after nearly 3 months after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was captured by U.S. military special forces. Rodriguez took over the government leadership in his place.